From Vermont Public, this is The Frequency. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. It's Monday, May 12th, and here are today's headlines. Last week, the Trump administration sued Vermont and 3 other states over their climate superfund laws. The lawsuit is similar to one filed by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the fossil fuel industry late last year. Vermont's law was the first of its kind in the country. It seeks damages from large fossil fuel companies in proportion to how much their products contributed to climate change globally in recent decades. Patrick Parento is a professor at Vermont Law and Graduate School's Environmental Law Center, and he says these lawsuits could go to the Supreme Court and force a decision about federal power and the Clean Air Act.
There's never been a Supreme Court decision just barring the states from protecting their citizens and their natural resources, right, from the effects of pollution.
Parento says the process could take a decade. More than 30 states have filed lawsuits seeking damages for climate change. All of those lawsuits could be affected by the outcome of Vermont's case. The federal government says Vermont's milk supply has reached the highest level of safety from the bird flu virus, or HPAI. Vermont is the first state in New England to receive this status from USDA. E.B. Flory is with the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets. Flory says USDA issued a report last week on the state's testing program for the bird flu in dairy products.
What it means is that we do not have HPAI in dairy cattle unequivocally in Vermont.
The Agency of Agriculture has been testing milk at more than 400 dairy farms since the beginning of the year. There are houses around Vermont that are too far back from the road to receive a free connection to the state's new high-speed fiber network. Rob Fish is with the Vermont Community Broadband Board, and he says the board recently added $3.5 million to a fund that helps low-income households cover those expenses.
There are over 1,000 addresses that have been identified around the state where people have wanted to sign up to become customers.
Fish says the board hopes to open up applications for the funding program this summer. Quebec experienced near-record-high population growth last year, and it's due almost entirely to immigration. The province's fertility rate reached its lowest level on record, but the CBC reports that immigration, largely from non-permanent residents, more than made up the difference. The province grew by more than 150,000 people and reached a total of 9.1 million. Temporary foreign workers, asylum seekers, and international students caused the population growth. The news comes as the Quebec government recently passed a cap on international students, and the Quebec premier has proposed reducing temporary immigration. And finally, the Notch Road between Stowe and Cambridge is open again as of this past Friday, that according to the Vermont Agency of Transportation. The Notch, also known as Scenic Route 108, closes to traffic each year for the winter months. The state has once again installed traffic control devices known as chicanes on each side of the mountain pass. They're meant to stop tractor-trailers and other long vehicles that are not allowed on the winding, narrow road because they can get stuck there. Those devices were first used last year, and only one vehicle got stuck all season. Coming up, we hear from 2 Vermont hopefuls entering this year's NPR Tiny Desk Concert Contest. That's after this. Thousands of musicians from across the country are waiting to see whether they'll get to perform on one of the biggest stages in music media today. That's because NPR is currently judging entries for the annual Tiny Desk Contest, which provides an unsigned artist with the opportunity to record one of the namesake shows and get all the exposure that comes with it. Nearly 40 artists from Vermont submitted entries this year, and we've chosen a few to share with you in the lead-up to NPR announcing a winner. Today, we'll hear from folk blues musician Sarah Bell and the hardcore rockers Miles of Fire.
My name is Javen Leonard, and I am from Westbrook, Vermont. And I play guitar, and one of the primary songwriters, along with Matt Roy, who's a guitar player, and another primary songwriter, and William Moeller, who is not here too, is our drummer. When I'm not playing music, I'm a full-time marketing specialist at Linden Institute up in the Northeast Kingdom.
My name is TJ Maynard. I currently reside in Colchester, Vermont. I'm the bass player for Miles of Fire. I basically just kind of write my parts to complement the arrangements that largely come from Matt and Javen. When I'm not playing music, I'm very fortunate to be a stay-at-home father to my 6-year-old daughter, and it's a lot of fun.
My name is Tyler Gerwitz, and I live in Essex Junction, Vermont. I sing and I write the lyrics. I've been in the cannabis industry for about 9 years, and I also moonlight as a wedding band singer.
Tyler actually brought up the idea of submitting a song to NPR's Tiny Desk, and he thought Repeater would be a really good choice and would really kind of transfer to acoustic from electric very well.
For those not familiar with our band Miles of Fire, we're kind of a weird, artsy, metallic, hardcore band. So this song is really out of left field for us. It's more of a ballad. It's a pretty lovesick, sad song. I think it conveys a lot of beauty and also some of the coldness of life.
Granted, yeah, we're a really heavy band, but this song is very accessible. I think it's the first song that I've written since high school that my 81-year-old mom will listen to.
My favorite thing about the Tiny Desk series in general is how creative everybody can be. Like, I think you said there were 40 bands from Vermont, and a lot of them are very, very different from each other. And it's fun to see how other people kind of interpret what a Tiny Desk concert should be. And there's some creative ones out there. It was cool to see.
The Tiny Desk submission that we did, the whole process, it was a lot of fun. It could really come down to the wire for us. I'd like to have another crack at it sometime where we have more room. So it'd be fun to try it again and get a little more creative with our environment and get a little more space to move around a bit.
Tiny desk, not tiny room.
Yeah, exactly.
That was several members of the band Miles of Fire talking about their Tiny Desk contest submission. Next up, blues folk singer Sarah Bell.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bell. I live down in Worcester, Vermont, and I submitted a song called Paper Bag to the Tiny Desk contest.
Everything's wrong and everything's right. I'm feeling untethered as I'm losing my mind.
I've been a stay-at-home mom for like the last 10 years, but in the past couple of years, I've been actually playing professionally as a musician. I have a healing studio down in Montpelier, so I do like plant medicine, Reiki. I work with the nervous system, a lot of kind of just like deeply restorative practices to kind of help people feel safe in their bodies again, and just empower people to come back home to their truth. I just separated from my partner of like 14 years, and it was kind of a really difficult choice to make, but what was healthy for both of us. So this song that I played for Tiny Desk was called Paper Bag, and so there's a lot of emotions that come with letting go, and there were some points that I was like, you know what, Sarah, you're just in a paper bag. You just need to climb out of it. You're overthinking, just it's okay.
When I wake tomorrow, it'll all be gone.
I didn't have a great space in my house, like acoustically, so I was like, I bet the basement would be okay. So I totally just like went downstairs, tore apart my basement to like create space, because I had a desk, and I was like, but it's in the basement, and that is where it's staying. And then the backdrop was just kind of like plywood, and I was like, no, it feels like a paper bag. This is perfect. Like, it was like middle of winter, like I just had like my beanie on. So it was just my sweatpants and my beanie and in my basement. That's what I did.
Won't you pull me back together?
That was Sarah Bell and the band Miles of Fire, Vermont artists who've entered this year's Tiny Desk Concert Contest held by NPR. You can check out their submissions at our website, vermontpublic.org. And thanks for listening to The Frequency today. We had additional reporting from Abigail Giles, Howard Weiss-Tisman, Mark Davis, and April McCullum. Today's episode was edited by Liam Elder Connors, and our music is by Blue Dot Sessions. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. Talk to you tomorrow.
Planet Money helps you understand the economy. We find the people at the center of the story.
Garbage in New York, that was like a controlled substance.
We show you how money influences everything.
Tell me what you like by telling me how you spend your money.
And we dig until we get answers.
I had a bad feeling you were going to bring that up.
Planet Money finds out. All you have to do is listen. The Planet Money Podcast from NPR.